Hello, beautiful people. How are all of you doing today? On a scale from, wow, this day is, not particularly great because, I suck, to, wow, this day is poggers because I am great and yeah. Hello! How do you do, chat? Sorry, my brain kind of stopped working a little. How do you all do? While this day is sillying, I am sillying. Understandable, have a nice sillying. I see Arlecchino, I see happiness. I mean, that's okay, I guess. This day sucks because I have to wait until Act 2 of Arcane drops. True, actually, good point. I've been thinking of rewatching Season 1. I feel like it would be a good use of my time. Thank you for the Prime! Ellie Pinelli. It's called simping. I don't know if it's really simping. It's just like... Arcane is just good. Fat chest. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want. Huge. Huge. Poggers. Who's your favorite character from the show, if you remember? I'm torn. I talked about this a little bit last time I talked about Arcane, but I think there are two characters that are great in very different ways. Well, three characters, I guess. So, okay, first character that I think is great. Thank you for the 3 months, Doppio. First character that I think is great that I haven't talked about before is Echo. The thing about Echo, though, is that he's a sort of character that's not really there to have a character arc or any sort of character development. He's just the GOAT from the start. And... I tend to prefer stories that focus on changes in personality and, like, characterization within their characters. But Echo is the kind of guy that, like, you can't not get along with. You know, he's the GOAT. That's the first one. The second one is Mbessa. I feel like she hard carries Arcane on her shoulders. Who the fuck is that? Mel's mother. Oh, I want her to step on me. She's so hot. Yeah, that's like that's expected reaction to Mbessa. Yeah, fair. Fair. And finally, the true GOAT of Arcane. Probably the one who is growing on me as my personal favorite now. Heimerdinger. Dude, Heimer is so funny, man. He's just so fucking funny. Dude, Heimer is hilarious. Dude, Heimer tripping balls and his face turning into like a fractal fucking thing bullshit. Like, dude, that's peak. Actual peak. Heimerdinger tripping balls Arcane.
Something you wish to report? Go on. You have my undivided attention.
Tripping balls scene Arcane. Whatever. I can't find it. All the characters in League? Like, legit all of them? Well, some of the characters are not League of Legends champion, but they're all, like, some at least tangentially related to League lore. Mbessa is the newest League champ. But some of the major characters and a lot of the minor characters are not League champs. Like Silco, for example, not a League of Legends champion. Bro got splattered by arcane magic and you're laughing? Yeah. Damn right I am. I saw that Singes and I was surprised. Yeah. Dude, it's so hard for me to conceptualize Singe as an evil guy. Like, in my mind, Singe is just such a silly goose. You know? Like, I know he's evil, but like, God, he's so silly. Wait, actually, I am quite curious, okay, because we did just say Mbessa's a newest League champ. I haven't watched any League content since she came out, so I am curious. What is her win rate? 45%. Second worst top laner in the game. Alright, makes sense. Makes sense! That's normal for new champions. Yeah, I mean, when I tested her on PBE, it felt like she was the kind of champ that was just completely worthless without items. Like her base numbers and her base cooldowns were just too low and long. Someone said she had a bloated kit. Yeah, I think that's very fair to say. Anyways, chat, what do we play? You know what? I'm pretty sure my Raiden is on a carry build, so maybe we can play Raiden. What if we play Raiden Hyper with Shalone and Kazuha?
Sounds good to me.
Do you guys think we can one-rotate these guys with this? I feel like it might be a problem. Oh. I also don't have energy.
There is no escape. I'm going in. Wind strike. Torn to oblivion.
Okay, we can. Did anyone see the best combo? No. But I didn't want to bother.
Fallen leaves. Adorn, letting brave names echo. Ugh, how annoying. Teamwork is strength.
The wind knows it.
Inazuma shines eternal. Huh.
Does the healing bonus also increase incoming full party heals or just tick healing? It increases all healing, but it doesn't increase incoming healing. It increases outgoing healing. All right, that's enough ride and carry for the month, I think. Oh, you guys agree? Agreed. Okay. All right, what do we do now? LYNEY? We could play LYNEY, actually. I'm down. Sure. Let's do this.
We'll be a travel.
Let's light it up. Bring it. I'm going in.
A round of applause. Now disappear.
Why could this never be on the right set, man? Whatever. It's still probably gonna be good, as long as it doesn't roll into EM. This is 5 roller. It's relatively likely to roll better than this. On average, it will roll better. So let's hope we don't get fucked by RNG, don't roll EM. At this point, it's just funny, man. Whatever. Just... I wanna... Ah! Maybe this isn't actually bad on Auron, honestly. Like, if he gets enough Electrocharge procs, it's actually not bad. You know? Fucking hell, dude. Oh, God.
Teamwork is dreamwork. Let's.
Here comes the finale. And voila!
Why do you make yourself suffer and play LYNEY? It's for the good of it's for the greater good. Okay, I'm recording as Zajef LYNEY today. I gotta put myself into the mindset of a LYNEY player.
Everybody stand back.
A round of applause. Step right up.
I don't play LYNEY with a shield because he sounds so cute when he's hit. No glasses, Zajef. Thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna put on my glasses. Ah, fuck you. Frick you, Watchful. I missed the story behind the glasses. Can someone refresh? So, okay. Here's the thing about glasses, alright? Some people actually have some issues with their eyes, and it makes it difficult for them to see properly. The way that eyes work is, there's basically a bunch of, like, lenses inside of your eyes that are just part of your body that will focus the light onto your retinas. And what you see is actually the, like, light being projected onto your retinas. But much like many other parts of the body, those lenses can have some issues. Those lenses inside of your eyes that focus the light onto a specific spot. And when there are issues with those lenses, you can add additional lenses in front of them to make up for that gap that's happening, or to either, like, if the thing, sorry, you can use external lenses to make up for that, like, internal issue and focus the light properly. Yeah, that's a good one. That's such a good one. Yeah, so here's a nice little useful drawing to help you guys understand, okay? You know how when you have transparent things, the way that the light gets or passes through it isn't just all necessarily straight through, and it can get refracted? Well, that's what's happening in your eyes, and it's focusing all of the light that's coming into your eye onto one point of your retina. And your vision can start becoming blurry or have some other sort of issues if, for example, your lens is too thick or too thin or anything like that. And glasses help alleviate that issue and correct it. So yeah, that's the deal with the glasses. It's to help people's vision. Your chat isn't that dumb. Why are you explaining that? Someone asked me what was the deal with the glasses.
Let's get this show on the road. Now disappear.
Let's light it up.
And yes, I understand that they were asking me, Zajef, why are you wearing glasses now when you weren't wearing glasses before? But I think it's funnier to pretend like I didn't. Maybe I'm just dumb, but did you get a haircut? A while ago. Like 3 weeks ago or some shit. Can you please explain how the different lenses interact with one another? Sure. I'm down. Let me open Paint. Let's do a physics lecture, chat. So, when you have a ray of light, let's zoom out a little. When you have a ray of light that comes into contact with a surface, a transparent surface, right? If the surface is completely perpendicular like this, the light's just gonna go straight through, like this. However, if the surface is at an angle, let's actually go for something like this. That's easier to see. If it's at an angle, then instead of going straight through like this, it'll try to adapt. And it's instead gonna go like this. It's gonna try to correct itself so that it's how do I explain this properly? Yeah, this is called refraction. Now, the angle at which this gets changed is going to depend on the source material, right? If your refractive index or whatever, dude, I don't know the names of these things in English. I learned it in French, okay? But if your surface has a higher refractive index or whatever it's called, then the angle will be changed more. What that means is that if you have if you have a surface that isn't actually completely straight and it's curved in some way, then the way that the light is going to get refracted through it will be different. So, let's say you have an object that's emitting light because it's reflecting the light that it received from external sources, like, I don't know, a fucking mug right here. Right? And you have that object, like, fucking here, right? Very cool. Let's make it bigger. Very cool. So, the center of this object is going to be in the middle, and because it's going up against a surface that is not curved whatsoever, it'll just go straight through. However, this part here is meeting at an angle that is different. It's not perpendicular, and so it's going to get refracted. So it's going to go like here. And then here, same thing. You're at an angle that's different. It gets refracted. And it goes like here. Same thing for the point here. And as you can see, the point that starts here is now lower. The top is lower, the bottom is higher, which means that an object that is seen through a convex lens like this will appear smaller. Similarly, a concave lens, so if it's like this instead of this, yeah, there should be a focal point, but like the focal point generally when you're okay, fine. This isn't my fucking optics homework, okay? I didn't think I needed to make it entirely precise, but if it'll make you happy. There you go. So if you watch it from here, it'll be this amount smaller, but if you watch it from further, it'll be even smaller. Anyways, the way that it works in your eyes is you have the retina that receives the light. Fucking Kali. Here. But if you have a problem with the thickness or the shape of your lens at the front of your eye, then what can end up happening is that instead of the focal point being on the retina, it's going to be behind it or ahead of it. And glasses add an additional lens. I'm not going to fucking draw another one, but well, I guess I can roughly draw another one. They add an additional lens here that is going to already make these things like this and like this, so the focal point becomes on a different, or to move the focal point to try to make it hit the retina properly. Anyways, good talk. Optics class was fun, but wave bullshit, like, Optics 101 is fun, but wave bullshit is not fun. So yeah, yeah. Is there a difference between contact lenses and glasses? It's just where the lens is, right? The glasses act as a lens that's here, that's gonna already do things like this. Sorry, the lenses of your glasses act like this, whereas the contact lenses effectively add as a way, or function as a way to adjust the shape of the lens you already have to correct it directly. Technically, it's not exactly that because they're not made of the same material your eyes are made of, so there's going to be a different refractive index here than here, but like, more or less. Like, nitpick, the lens is supposed to place the focal point before the retina, not on the retina. See, that's not optics, that's biology, so I don't give a shit. But thank you. Thank you nonetheless. Alright, chat, let's do this tricle. Stare. Is it labor again? Did they not update it? Maj. Okay. Listen, okay, if they don't update it, I can't do my stall. Are we gonna just skip stall? Man. Let's just do this. I think the strike ended. Did it? That's sus. No concessions, but back to work? Doesn't that mean the strike failed? It is optics. I mean, okay, technically you're right. Okay, I know that like technically, what's happening is that the it's here, and the things actually continue like this. And what you see on your retina is actually an inverted image. Do you guys know that you see upside down, but your brain adjusts for it? No, you didn't. Loser. But who cares? That's not the important part, okay? That's not the important part. Balls. It's a cryo character released long after Balls. And long before Risley. Before Shenhe? It's either a bow or what's the other weapon type? Claymore? Was Alloy released that late into Genshin's life cycle? She was. Wow. I thought she was in 1 point something. But it couldn't have been anyone else. Oh well. Lonely? Me? Not with someone here nagging me all the time, that's for sure. It's an asshole. Who's an asshole? No! How did I not know this? No! No! Fuck! I brought shame upon Balls. Fuck, man. Whatever, man. Just get me out. Get me out. This can't be Mika. Who's a nerd sword user? Is it Singto? Oh, Hytham? Nice, okay. Bald? 1.0 character? Not Dorillo. So, who do we try? Asta, maybe? Sai? Sorry. I've lost interest in your research potential for today. See you tomorrow. Whatever. One of the research characters. That's Kaveh for sure. That's Kaveh. Like 100%, no? Is that not clearly Kaveh? Who has cards? Wait, isn't Black Swan's, like, entrance animation on their thing a fucking spinny card? Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. We're not gonna get a second Bende in a row. I know, but it still makes me sad. Okay, so I know it's not Ellen, but I kind of like guessing Ellen second, so I don't care. Okay, so it's an attack character. Let's try Billy. An attack character that's not any of these element.
Oh, ow.
Wait, why did I guess Anton? Am I an idiot? Oh, whatever. Whatever.
Good things come to those who don't wait around. Yeah.
Good things come to those who don't wait around. I have made a custom connections. Pog, my goat. Bunny Girl Topaz T-Furry Dug video. Windset. Yai Pre-Dendro. Gobble Anything. Bain-Marie. Chiori. Vonwak. I Pulled a Chi-Chi. Ella. Farina Teaser. Capiano. Transistor Paper Boats. Dea. Zajef would be top. Oh god. So, I think I know what this is referring to.
Let's go find some treasure.
But why is it here? Why is it here? Yeah. Alright. 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 I mean, yeah. Alright. Makes sense. Okay. Zajef cooks. Okay. 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 Music things. And garbage. The X.5 curse, I see. Windset and what's Vonwak? Those are Star Rail things. The Windset advances you forward 25% when you use your ult, and Vonwak advances you forward at the start of the fight. I was a huge advocate for Windset and Vonwak when I played Star Rail. Back then, people were a bit less... People recognized a bit less the power of Windset. What's a duh video? I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Why is Windset good? On characters who only want to build speed, Windset is just effectively speed. And speed is good.
Adventure time.
And on other characters, it can be what you need to get you to a certain speed breakpoint so that you get one more action before, um, before, like, the cycle is over. Now people will be doing Apocalyptic Shadow Zero AV clears with Eagle plus Von Wag. I know! It's a good set! More speed than I show speed batch. Okay, dude, I need to know, alright? Because I saw, like, a clip on Twitter of ISHO Speed racing against Noah Lyles, and it being, like, kind of close. What? Was that staged, or is he just, like, really fucking fast? Like, I need to know, man. I'm, like, so curious. Who? Or, which one are you whoing? ISHO Speed is a very popular streamer, and Noah Lyles is an Olympic sprinter. He is fast, yeah. Have you seen the clip of him jumping over 2 speeding? Okay, here's the thing though, right? Like, I think that jumping over a speeding car and being almost as fast as a fucking Olympic sprinter gold medalist are, like, very different, right? Jumping over a car isn't something that you couldn't do. It's something that you wouldn't do because you value your life.
Come on, let's go.
Almost beating an Olympic gold medalist at sprinting is something that you couldn't do. You know? like the car thing makes me think he's fucking insane. The sprint thing makes me think he's fucking talented. Like, they're very, very different things. I mean, it's in his name, true. That is a good point. Dude, I will say, though, it's kind of crazy to me how relatively sane he is, considering the people he like, hangs around with in the content sphere. Like, how can a young guy within Aiden Ross's sphere of influence end up this reasonable? Like, I don't understand, man. Like, I don't understand. Anyways. I say that every time I see you near Zajef. So what do you mean? Are you saying that Nick is as bad as Aiden Ross? That's so fucked. I am? What do you mean?
Everybody stand back. Let's light it up.
A round of applause, and voila!
Oh, you got a double. You. Maybe. You're the bad influence. Okay, no, like, okay, no joke, real talk, okay? I am an incredibly positive influence on him. Okay? Chat, I mean, you guys know what happened the last time we stopped talking for a while, don't you? Do you remember the Albedo incident, don't you?
This is no time for distractions. Seriously, you have a great magician standing right here. You don't want to miss the best part, do you?
Teamwork is dreamwork.
Let's get this show on the road. Now disappear.
What was the Albedo incident? It's what happens when Nick makes a guide without my help. Also, Pog. But again, why is it on the wrong fucking set? That's really good, though. Just don't roll into flat attack. Yes, that's fine. I guess that's fine. That's good. That's good. Okay, I'll take that. That's pretty good. %14 attack over 4 Reor. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm good. Alright, we take those.
Let's light it up. Everybody stand back.
Here comes the finale.
Please, for dude, please, dude, please, 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 please don't roll into fucking flat stats. Please, please spare me the flat defense. Please, 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 please. Is it my best hands?
Teamwork is dreamwork.
And voila! A round of
Time to strongbox. You know what? You're right. It is time to strongbox. Today is going to be a strongbox day. That's what it's gonna be. But what am I strongboxing? That's the question.
Add as.
Noblesse, probably?
Thank you for completing. Add as.
I need better noblesse for my Singto. Maybe I strongbox Petra, honestly. Man. Let's just do Emblem. What am I supposed to do with all of these fucking defense percent crit rate ER pieces that I have, dude? I'll lock them, I guess. None of these are good enough. Ugh. Will this be good? No. Alright, whatever. I'm gonna strongbox Petra now. Fuck it. Really, what's the worst that could happen? Is this worth keeping? No, it's not. Yeah. Feels bad to be throwing a piece like that, but... Your high roll, I'll lock that. Hmm. Healing bonus? Do I care about that? That could have been Vermilion. You're actually so right. That's my bad. That could have been Vermilion. Let's do Vermilion. You're so real for that. First he plays Ride on Hyper, then he strongboxes Vermilion. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm sorry. I know, I'm sorry. Maybe I should keep this just in case. Dude, what is... Oh, that's good. I was gonna say, what is this garbage, but maybe. Maybe. Pause. What's my current best Vermilion Sands? I see. That's good. You know what? Let's just fucking go hard. Let's plus 20 this shit right now. I'm never gonna need this. We take those. We take those. I wonder if I'm getting close to the point of of my best in slot actually being Vermilion. It might be, actually. I think I'll go offset on the goblet, because it's just, like, this is just too fucking good. This isn't even that bad. I wish it was something other than ER, though, either attack or crit damage. Anyways, this is definitely good enough to use. And so is this. This is a 6 roller. This is also a 6 roller. Do I have anything promising? This is already 3. Let's see what it rolls on 4. This isn't enough to go for right here. Crit? Wanted to double check, just in case. The ratio is, like, noticeably worse. But it's not bad. My ER is low. But I should be fine with Fab, Farazon, and Arena. Alright, chat. Let's play Vermilion Chow for the first time in a long time. This is definitely gonna be a video? No. I don't think so. I don't think it's interesting enough. Like, I'm just playing Chow. I felt like I didn't have enough ER when I was in the domain earlier. Makes sense. She's on Deepwood. Alright, that's fine then.
Ears of the storm. Let LYNEY echo in song. Stray clouds converge.
Useless. Disappear. Worthless.
Of course. We're gonna reset. That was awful.
Truth repeats itself. You know, time to shine.
I hate consecrated beasts so much. Okay, this is also noticeably slower than on my old build.
Dare to mess with me? Wretched death!
Damn. Dodge. Yeah, we need to strongbows Vermilion more. That's clearly the conclusion we need to take from this, 100%.
Everybody stand back!
Target acquired.
What are you doing?
This'll brighten up the place. Reconstitute. Let's light it up. I'm going in. You're toast. Nice and spicy.
What? Oh my god. I'm tilted. But whatever. That was awful.
Russian floral. Everybody stand back.
I got him cornered.
Nice and spicy. This'll brighten up the place. Extract. Let's go. Teamwork is
Oh well. I swear Kadich has a hidden passive that reduces his crit rate by 20% or something. True! True and real.
truth repeats itself. Let the world collide. Seize the skies.
Useless. Evil conquering.
Dude, this is such an awful start.
Worthless.
Have fun with this gift. Show him your praise. Time to shine. Strike cloud converge.
Useless. Disappear. Here. Worthless.
Chat, is Emilie the right element for to knock down the thingy? Do you guys know?
Neutralize.
That's... I fucking pressed 2 before I pressed E. That's fucked. Now I'm gonna have to wait for his E cooldown. That's completely fucked.
A little ambiance. Everybody stand back. Let's light it up. Eat this.
Locked up.
What have I done? What have I done? Dude, I can't...
Off we go. Russian floral. Going in. You're toast. I'm surprised.
I forgot to do my N1.
Before your king. Shoot. Can't afford any more bandages. A little ambiance. Teamwork is dreamwork.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Everything is fine. That was awful. Dude, that was terrible. What the fuck?
Seize the skies.
Disappear! Boring! Useless!
So Ganesh literally jumps over the geowaves and still takes damage. Yup!
Extract. Let's light it up. That's gonna hurt in the. Reconstitute. Everybody stand. You're toast.
For the Lord of the Night!
Fresh and floral. Teamwork is dreamwork. Eat this. Neutralize.
Target acquired.
A little ambiance. Go in. Axe fry pan into the fire. You're toast.
Locked up.
Yeah. Ganesh is a character of all time, that's for sure. He sure is. Ah. Alright, chat. Alright, chat. I think it's time to record the Ask Zajef LYNEY edition. So let me go make a community post very quickly. It's
You're
so
sheltering
bad.
enemies of the
What is
state,
that?
are you not?
Sans. That is awful.
The audience thinks
That is
it's
dog
safe.
shit. That's a terrible. I'm not adding it.
No limit to the number of tricks I can pull off.
Hello, beautiful people, with LYNEY's rerun coming up very soon. I've decided to record another Ask Zajef. If you have any questions about him, come ask them over on Twitch. Link in replies. Post. Comment.
I wonder what my dear sister Lynette is doing right now. Missing me to death, I'm sure.
Okay, business. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome. Hi, to Ask Zajef LYNEY Edition. Now, LYNEY is a character that's been out for, what, about a year now? And there's a lot of interesting things about him, so we're gonna have quite a bit to talk about today. I also want to quickly, before I get into the questions on LYNEY, address the fact that I haven't been doing many Ask Zajefs for character reruns lately. I got pretty burnt out on content, or I don't know if it's on content in general or Genshin specifically, but I got pretty burnt out in the last few months, and I think both the quantity and quality of my videos took a little bit of a dip. But I'm feeling a lot better now, so here's to hoping that that won't be the case anymore. I am planning on doing Ask Zajefs on all the rerun characters for the foreseeable future, so you can look forward to that. So let's get right into it. For the Ask Zajef, as usual, I'm going to start by quickly discussing what I think is the character's current place in the meta, current strength, pull value, all of that. And after that, I'm going to take questions from my Twitch chat. If you are interested in asking a question about the character, you can keep an eye out either by following me on Twitch, joining the Discord, where we'll do a Discord announcement when the Ask Zajef starts, or keeping an eye out on the community posts on YouTube. I try to do a community post at the start every time. So let's get right into it. And yeah, if there's any Discord mods here, if you would be so kind as to make a Discord announcement, that would be Pog. All right. So, how good is LYNEY? I think LYNEY is a character who, just in terms of power, is fairly strong, but who has a lot of caveats to that strength. He's a character that is relatively well represented in speedrunning. You often see LYNEY runs, but who comparatively doesn't see that much play outside of speedrunning. And the reason for that is relatively straightforward. LYNEY is a charge shot character, and charge shotting is cringe as fuck. And it makes you want to commit harmful actions on your own person. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but LYNEY is a character who, much like the other hard shot carries, is fairly vulnerable to getting interrupted, but is also fairly reliant on being played in teams that go all out in terms of damage. What I mean by that is that if you don't play a character like Zhongli to make your team feel better with LYNEY, it's very easy to get interrupted. It's very easy to be in positions where you just straight up don't have a choice but to wait for your charge shot, because you're gonna have to dodge the incoming attack and it's gonna make it so you can't fully charge your shot. But if you do play Zhongli, the team DPS is honestly just not very impressive. What that leads to is situations where over extended fights, LYNEY tends to not be the best, but in short fights, you can ditch your defensive option and just try to kill the enemy before they do their annoying attacks. That's why he sees so much more play in speedrun than general play. LYNEY is also a character who has a fairly decent ability to front load his damage, with his burst and skill being as strong as they are. And yeah, I'd say also that since his rerun, his place in the meta has shifted a little bit. Wait, actually, is this the first LYNEY rerun or the second one? Second one, right? Yeah. Okay. So when his first rerun came around, Farina already existed, but Shilonen did not. And I would say that Shilonen is a very, very good thing for LYNEY. When you're just looking at his ability to front load his damage, Shilonen doesn't really make that much of a difference. And so you're not necessarily going to see her in every speedrun LYNEY team. However, in terms of general gameplay, because her buff lasts for much longer, letting you use Shilonen before you start going to Bennett or something like this. But letting you use Shilonen before you start going to your other buffers with relatively shorter duration, it effectively lets you spend more time on LYNEY while you're buffed. On top of that, it makes the Farina LYNEY teams much more comfortable to play. Now, when I say comfortable, I don't mean defensively. If you're playing a Farina LYNEY team, it's gonna be a team that struggles defensively without a doubt. There's not really much you can do about that. LYNEY is a character whose base stats are incredibly squishy, and if on top of that you have Farina, you know, chipping away at his HP a little bit, it's gonna make it even more noticeable. However, previously, Farina LYNEY teams had the issue of Pyro Swirl setups being somewhat difficult to do reliably through Farina's skill. Farina's skill is off-field Hydro application with consistent timing, but timing you can't control once you've used your skill. What that means is that if anything goes wrong whatsoever, you have to dodge at the wrong moment, your setups can get... the timing of your setups can get shifted a little bit, and that can make it so that instead of swirling Pyro, you swirl nothing, or you swirl Hydro. With Shilonen, because... while yes, crystallizing the right element is nice because it gets you the Cinder City proc, the resistance shred is independent of crystallizing. The resistance shred happens no matter what. And because of that, it makes the Farina teams a lot more pleasant to play, in my experience. I'd say that in terms of general use, Shilonen was a massive buff to LYNEY because of the way that it works with the Farina team. I think that in terms of general use, right, speedrunning aside, LYNEY's best team, at least if you think you can get away without defensive utility, is by far LYNEY, Bennett, Shilonen, Farina now. There is a potential issue with that, which is that LYNEY doesn't have very large AoE. His burst and his skill are a very significant portion of his damage, but their range, their AoE range is relatively small. What that means is that if you don't run grouping on him, he's effectively almost exclusively single target. Whereas if you do run grouping, you can front load a pretty nice chunk of AoE damage with, well, I guess my talents aren't level high enough. Let me open Amber real quick. that with a solid 1,000 plus another, what, like 700-ish. You can output a bunch of damage from burst and skill in AoE on a cluster of grouped enemies. And that means that while I do think that Chillone and Farina is now his best team with Bennett, I don't think it completely trivializes Kazuha's usage in his teams. And it's part of why Kazuha still sees a lot of play in LYNEY speedruns, because the grouping, when it's enough to let you one-shot the first wave of a multi-wave chamber, is going to make a huge difference. All in all, LYNEY's place in the meta is, he's a relatively good character now. But his pull value is, in my opinion, very low. LYNEY is a sort of character that has a lot of caveats that other characters just don't have, and doesn't really perform to the level of those caveats being worth it. Now, does that mean you can't go for him? No. When I talk about pull value, I'm talking about how attractive a character can be to your account if you don't give a shit about their characterization or gameplay, right? That's what pull value is all about. That's why I separate pull value from strength when I talk about characters. A character being strong is a good way, or is what should matter to you. Like, okay, let me rephrase that. A character being strong is really the important thing if, you know, you want to get the character irregardless of their strength, and then them being strong means that you will actually be able to use them and it not feel like shit. A character having high pull value is more so for people who are only focused on improving their team or getting the best results in like as quickly as possible, and who don't really care much about which characters they get as long as they're strong. In that respect, LYNEY is relatively low pull value. But I did recommend Yelan to be leveled to 90. What are you talking about? What are you yapping about? Why are you sending me a YouTube link? What are you talking about? And then let's say 30. Like, what the fuck do you want me to say, man? Should 90. What do you think the word should mean? Do you think it means should not? Like, also, why are you telling me this while I'm recording a video that has nothing to do with Yelan? You're asking me why I said something that I didn't say while I'm in the process of trying to record a video that is completely unrelated to the subject. I don't get it. I was excited to see you online, did no recording. It's fine, but I still don't understand what you're asking me. Like, it's very clearly says should 90. Not as important doesn't mean you shouldn't. Otherwise, I would have said shouldn't 90 because not very important. It just means that it's not as important to 90 a character here as it is to 90 a character here. Which is very true. Anyways. I got distracted. Let's, Quick question, do you think the word pull value is more dependent on the competition the character has in the same archetypes? Kinda, yeah. More or less, yeah. But yeah, I guess that's something I can go more in depth on. I'm a dumbass, sorry, it's okay. Don't worry about it. But yeah, a character's pull value is something that's going to change over time because what makes a character valuable to pull is if they're better than other characters. In, like, at doing a specific thing. What that means is that if a new character becomes or gets released that is better than an old character at doing that specific thing, then their pull value goes down. A large reason of why LYNEY has relatively little pull value in my eyes is that Arlecchino tends to just do what he does but better. There are situations where LYNEY will outpace Arlecchino in like in specific teams or against specific enemies, but as a general rule, Arlecchino tends to just do what he does but better. In any case, my conclusion for his overall strength and pull value, presence in the meta, is that LYNEY is a relatively strong character who you should only really get if you actually like him, because he has some clunkiness that is going to make him feel a little bit uncomfortable to play, and he's generally not going to be the best at doing what he does. But he's definitely strong enough that you will have no issues clearing with him, as long as you can deal with his clunkiness. With that out of the way, let's get into the questions from viewers. So, as usual, make sure you mention me in the messages so that I know which questions are directed at me and which are just usual chat messages. I've heard that Maréchaussée isn't LYNEY's best in slot due to the hats snapshotting before the crit buff. Also, Cal's assuming that you burst last and sometimes you want to start with it. Do you agree with this? So that's an interesting discussion. I half agree with this. LYNEY does indeed have certain issues with Maréchaussée. But I would still say that leaning towards Maréchaussée as your best in slot is the right thing to do. There are situations where going for a 2-piece will be better than going for Maréchaussée. Mainly because, in order to stack up Maréchaussée with LYNEY, you have to do your charge shots. And depending on what sort of enemies you're fighting, and depending on where you, like, exactly how you're doing your rotation, there will be situations where you burst before you charge shot, and you skill before you charge shot. If, for example, there's a wave of relatively squishy enemies, but you want to, kill them all before getting into your charge shots. For example, in a previous Abyss, we had a wave of three Sumeru Shrooms, followed by the Jade Plume Terror Shroom. In a situation like that, going Marechaussee means that you're gonna use your burst and your skill on that first wave, and it's not gonna get any value from anything here. And in a situation like that, then a 2-piece is better. However, if you're doing proper rotations, and if you're doing your burst after charge shots rather than before, Marechaussee will be better. I think that the biggest factor in terms of what's better between Marechaussee and 2-piece is how good your 2-piece is. If you have a really good 2-piece available to you, I do think it's completely reasonable to run that over Marechaussee, even if you're doing like full proper rotations. One additional thing I want to say about this is obviously if you're playing the LYNEY Farina team, you full proc your Marechaussee from Farina's HP consumption anyways, and so you're not reliant on doing your charge shots to get it. Which means that Marechaussee is just always better for that. But yeah. If you're looking at LYNEY speedruns, most of the time they kill enemies so fast that they don't have time to do a bunch of charge shots. And that's where Marechaussee tends to not be the best. And that's why so many speedrunners run a 2-piece LYNEY build. Another advantage of running a 2-piece build is that if you run Marechaussee, it can be hard to avoid overcapping on crit rate if you're using a crit bow. Which means that running 2-piece makes it easier to get away with using a weapon like Skyward Harp, Polar Star, or any other crit bow. Next question! Does he really need Bennett if he runs the first Great Magic since he gets a huge attack buff? Need Bennett? No. But you should use Bennett. Bennett is too good not to use on characters like LYNEY. You'll be able to clear without him, but it'll be noticeably worse. Do you think his wide variance in damage output between unshielded and shielded team comps in tandem with his high difficulty curve makes him lose value for the majority of players? I don't see how I could ever recommend him to a beginner over a Lakino who's more consistent in nature. Yeah, I definitely agree with that sentiment. That's why I decided to talk so much about how his pull value is relatively low despite his strength. How cope do you think his Chevreuse teams are? I think they're fine. But I don't love them. The main issue with LYNEY and Chevreuse teams is that he doesn't really have great electro characters that fit his teams very well. Especially when you're playing a team without a shield, which is pretty much guaranteed in Chevreuse teams. Your electro options just aren't really gonna help him that much. Because, you know, without a shield, if you all, on top of that, have to spend time of your Bennett buff snapshotting someone like Fischl, is gonna make it so that he has even less time to do his attacks. In my experience, the character I've enjoyed playing the most in LYNEY ChesseBurgers teams in the Electro slot has been EM Raiden. Just fucking press E and forget about it. But, I mean, it's hard for me to say that's a great team. I don't think it's bad, but I definitely do think you'll tend to see more value out of LYNEY when you're not playing him in ChesseBurgers teams. Obviously, C6 ChesseBurgers is strong enough that a slightly worse synergistic, like a team that has slightly worse synergy can still perform quite well. So I'm not telling you to stay away from it entirely, but it's generally not the teams I'd recommend. Why not apply the same concept with Ganyu? She's also strong, but most people say she's bad. She's way harder to play than LYNEY, though. I mean, the same concept does apply to Ganyu. But she's weaker than LYNEY, and she's harder to play. So... the biggest issue with Ganyu, when you compare Ganyu and LYNEY, is that all of Ganyu's damage is charge shot. Like, technically she has a burst, but her burst isn't very good, and her skill does very little damage. When you're playing Meld Ganyu, it's the charge shots that do the damage. What that means is that against aggressive enemies that don't really let you charge shot, she's completely worthless. With LYNEY, at the very least, his burst and his skill aren't charge shot damage. There's something that he can do no matter what. Have you tested LYNEY with Burning? Considering 5.2 Abyss has a side with the Night Soul Shield, I think it might come out. I haven't tested it, but it shouldn't be very different. A Burning team with Emilie instead of Xiangling, where you would otherwise play a Monopyro LYNEY team, is going to function very similarly. I don't think there's much to test there. It'll work. It'll be alright. How worth is LYNEY with Farina trying to vape every hit? So, when you play LYNEY with Farina, you're not actually trying to vape. Vapes are a fine byproduct of your team doing its thing. Because LYNEY gets so much pyro damage bonus against enemies that are affected by pyro, because of this, it makes it so that the difference in damage between a vaped attack and a non-vaped attack is not actually that big. And then on top of that, if he's not vaping, it means Farina's vaping. So she's getting a little bit more damage out of it. What that means is that in a Farina LYNEY team, rather than focusing on vaping things, you just don't really give a shit, and you just do your bursts and your charge shots and your skill, and whatever happens, happens. Que sera, sera. True. Who do you think is better among the two between LYNEY and Chaska, just from a TC standpoint, as Chaska is not out yet? So obviously, like you mentioned, Chaska's not out yet, so my opinion on her is very subject to change at the very least until I start properly testing her. But I'd say they're relatively similar. I think they're both going to be characters that have their issues. I think Chaska looks like she's going to be a bit easier to play, but in exchange for that, her AoE is going to be much worse than LYNEY's AoE. In single target, I would expect Chaska to outperform LYNEY, but not by that much. And in AoE, I would expect LYNEY to outperform Chaska. Wait, why is LYNEY's AoE good? It's not that LYNEY has good AoE, it's that he has fine AoE. Like, for the same reason that he tends to be much easier to play than Ganyu, it's because a large portion of his damage is coming from his burst and skill. But Ganyu is... Yeah, I'm not saying Ganyu has bad AoE. I'm saying that LYNEY's AoE is decent for the same reason that he is easier to play than Ganyu. It's because a good portion of his damage is coming from his burst and skill. Alright, next question, chat. Don't forget to add me in your messages if you're asking a question for the Ask Zajef. I will not reply to messages that do not add me. Is Shilonen and LYNEY vape teams better than Kazuha? So I've already somewhat talked about it a little bit. In my experience, I would say that Shilonen tends to be better in single target, and Kazuha tends to be better in AoE. Will you be discussing LYNEY with Mawika, since we'll likely get leaks on his banner? I will be making a first impressions video on Mawika. I don't always make first impressions video on characters. Usually it's mostly just... I only do the pre-release for leaked characters. But for the pre-release, I tend to wait until after the live stream to post them. And so... that's asking you guys to wait for a pretty long time. So for the very popular character, generally the Archons, I tend to post a first impressions video not long after we get our initial leaks. I'll be talking about Mawika as a whole, not specifically with LYNEY, but you can look forward to that. Can his C1 be considered a downgrade in some situations since it now takes longer? Wait, what? What are you talking about? No, his C1 is never a downgrade. What? It does not take longer for the first hat to explode. What? It means you need 3 charge attacks to activate his cat instead of 2, but you don't. Because he can have 2 hats on field. Yeah, and he summons 2 hats for the first shot. So your second shot is going to be the 3rd hat, which is going to make the first hat explode. I'll be right back. I have returned. Ready your questions. Are any of his constellations significant to his DPS, like Nevilez / Risley C1? So, when you look at a full rotation on LYNEY, in a lot of teams, his C1 isn't that big of a DPS increase. But it helps front load his damage, and very often, if you're playing him in his strongest teams, you won't be able to do the full rotation because 1 or 2 of your charge shots are going to get cancelled. And it's something I talk about every time I talk about LYNEY and Ganyu, but there are a lot of situations where it's not a matter of skill if you're able to get all the charge shots. There are a lot of situations where the enemy's about to attack you. You can either not dodge and get hit, or dodge and lose your charge shot. Either way, you lose a charge shot. Now, there can be some ways to alleviate that. If you're staying far enough away from the hat and the taunt works properly, then sometimes the attack will just go on the hat, and it'll be fine, but yeah. How good is Shaska's weapon for LYNEY? It's pretty good. Obviously, you won't be able to get the first effect. Right, you're not going to trigger a swirl reaction. However, especially if you're playing him in the Shalon and Farina team, you will get both of the stacks you need of characters being of a different elemental type. So that's 48% charge attack damage and 24% burst damage bonus. On a high base attack, crit damage stat stick. If you're not playing him in the Farina team, it's not quite as good. But it's still a reasonable option. Yeah, sorry. This is a mid-base attack for a 5-star weapon, but it's a 5-star weapon, so it's still higher than all the 4-star weapons. What do you think about the wheelchair LYNEY team? Is it just a dolphin team, or does it work with... Or it works with Sue and Chiori? Okay, so we can talk about wheelchair a little bit. It's been seeing some more popularity lately, but it's such a... I don't know why people are making a big deal out of it. Yeah, indeed. If you put Shilonen and C1 Chiori with any functional 2-unit core, it'll be pretty good. There's really not much to say about that. Like, yeah, these are pretty good units. Your team will be strong. Without C1 Chiori, it's obviously much worse, but it's still alright. Jerry's doing 250k DPR C0, 380k C1 for LYNEY. That sounds reasonable, I think. LYNEY's doing like 900k, yeah. Like, is it gonna be LYNEY's best team? No. Is it gonna be a good LYNEY team? Yeah. Yeah, it'll be pretty good. The main reason why I don't care too much about it is because it's just so boring. Like, yeah, you're playing a character that just does damage as off field and it isn't really reliant on buffs. Congrats, I guess. That's cool. Hog. If you have a Chiori, she's definitely a character you can use on a LYNEY team if you want to have Farina on the other side or something. But yeah, that's that. Cool. Anyways, next question. How does LYNEY compare to Arlecchino? If Arlecchino was to rerun in 5.3, should I save or go for LYNEY? I would definitely go for Arlecchino over LYNEY in pretty much every situation. I'm not gonna get too deep into the nitty gritty of my thoughts on Arlecchino, because I'm planning on making a proper dedicated Arlecchino video when a rerun is announced. That's gonna be a lot more in depth than an Ask Zajef Arlecchino. There's a lot of things I want to talk about. Arlecchino is like my favorite carry. She's been my favorite carry since she came out, so I have a lot to yap about her. But I want to hold off on that video until the rerun is announced. How valuable do you think it is to have a Mono Pyro team available in a Genshin account? Is it worth to pull for LYNEY to have a Mono Pyro team? I would say no. I don't think there's much value in having a Mono Pyro team available. It's one of the many good teams you can have, but there's really not that much to say about it. The main upside of having a Mono Pyro team is when there are enemies that are very annoying with shields that are weak to Pyro, so whether Electro or Cryo Shield, Monopyro teams tend to be very good at dealing with that. However, it's not the LYNEY that's good at it. It's the Bennett Changling that's good at it. And it's not like Bennett Changling is a core that can't be run in other archetypes than Monopyro. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a Monopyro team. I'm saying that the perception that there's honestly any sort of archetype that you absolutely need is, in my opinion, wrong. I don't think there's any archetype that is important enough to have to justify, like, going out of your way to pull for a character you weren't really planning on getting just so that you can get that archetype. Thoughts on Melt LYNEY? I have never played a Melt LYNEY team that felt good to play. I'm not saying it's impossible. Maybe it is, but I haven't figured it out. There's a lack of good cryo units for Melt teams. I'd say that right now, the only forward Melt team that actually feels strong and where it feels like the cryo character is doing something that actually makes sense is Melt Arlecchino with Kea. And I guess Gumming as well. Melt Gumming. Those are like the main two. But in the Melt Arlecchino case, all Kea is doing is the app. It only works at C6. And it can go wrong pretty easily. And in the Gumming case, you're incredibly, incredibly reliant on Circle Impact, and it's very unpleasant to play against enemies with any amount of mobility. And that's mainly just due to the fact that we don't really have great options for off-field cryo applicators that would work well as enablers for Melt. In other words, we need a cryo channeling. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. What about Overload LYNEY team with ChesseBurgers? Is it far worse than his normal team? We've already answered that question. Also, remember to add me in your messages, chat. We can actually do a quick LYNEY run to show things. One thing I want to mention before I get into the run is my LYNEY is not great in terms of build. I have relatively good artifacts, but he's level 80 out of 80 with talents level 878. If his talent level were 999, level 90, it would be a noticeable difference. Let's do it first side, I guess. Why level 80? Because I can't be bothered farming for him. I don't play him often enough for that. Oh, right. I didn't realize that.
Avenge. Bring it. Let LYNEY echo in song. Hear the echoes of the valley. Teamwork is dreamwork.
Stay calm, stay calm. Here comes the finale. Step right.
Yoo-hoo! Let the world come alive. Everybody stand.
Oops,
Voila!
there is no shot, I just missed that.
Time to shine.
It's okay.
Strike a pose. Teamwork is dreamwork. Let's look.
A round of applause.
Yoo-hoo!
This is not the best run I've done, but that's okay.
By royal hands where I can see 'em. Eat this. Nice and spicy.
No rest for the midnight.
Transfixed. At the frying pan. Stop right there. Burning toast. Odds reveal.
Laid bare.
Justice will protect midnight. Drop your weapon. Eat this.
Transfixed.
Final war. Uma, get them. Ha, shadow.
Page.
Let the mountain veins boil. Let LYNEY echo in song. Go in.
Let's get this show on the road.
Let's light it up. Letting brave names echo. Time to shine. Yoo-hoo! Teamwork is dreamwork.
Oh. Step right up.
Okay.
Laid bare.
Yeah, I guess editors, you can use this. What the fuck did I just do? I don't know.
Royal decree.
Fuck me.
Nice and spicy.
Editors, you can use this as background footage instead of actually just putting it straight up in the video.
Uma, get them. Justice will. Odds reveal. Stop right there. Eat this. Nice and spicy.
As you wish.
Overruled. Hands where I can see 'em. Punch. Uma, get them. By royal
Okay. Alright, and I guess last shaper. Actually, I think I'll do 2 runs. I'll also do a run. I'll also do a run with the team on the second side. out of chat.
Let the world collide! Everybody stand back!
Here comes the finale.
Let's light it up! Time to shine! Teamwork is dreamwork!
Let's get this show on the road.
And alright. We've done this. Now we do it second side.
Laid bare. Odds reveal. Justice will prevail. Stop your toast! Nice plan! Shadow Raven! At the frying pan. Hands rocket! Eat this! Boba, get! By royal decree!
Transfixed. Midnight.
You asked for it! Final warning! Nice and spicy!
Okay. Very cool.
Let's light it up! Yoo-hoo! Let LYNEY echo in sub! Going in!
A round of applause. Now disappear.
Hear the echoes of the valley! Strike a pose! Time to shine! Everybody stand back! Let's light it!
Let's get this show on the road. And voila.
Bring it! Let's light it up! Let the world collide! I'm going in!
A round of applause. Now disappear.
Let's light it up! Everybody stand! Yoo-hoo!
Step right up.
Age. Abyss looks so much easier than it used to be in Sumeru. I'm guessing you haven't played this Abyss, have you?
Overrule! Odds reveal! Drop your weapons! Hands where I can see 'em!
Transfixed.
Shadow Raven! Nice and spicy! You're toast!
Drop.
My bad, dude.
Overruled. Stop right there. I'm the sidekick.
Transfix.
Justice will prevail. Wings of dark. You're toast.
Okay. Let's do this again, but properly this time.
Let my name echo in some. Going in.
Magic can't cheat death, you know.
I shouldn't have done that. I forgot to miss the shot.
Here comes the finale. And voila!
Let's light it up. Strike a pop. Bring it. Let the world collide. Shower me with everybody. Stand back.
A round of applause.
Let's light it up. Teamwork is.
Anyways. We are vibing. But yeah, so the reason why you want to miss the first shot, that's actually something I wanted to say. LYNEY's charge attack is what applies the what is it, Uzi or Pneuma? The Pneuma. And so against enemies where you don't want to apply Pneuma too early, like against the Gravity Mech, missing your first charge shot can actually be optimal. Obviously, this enemy is in this abyss. It might not be in the next abyss, so... But that's still something that can be useful to know if it ever comes back.
Overruled. You asked for it. Nice and spicy. Shadow Race. Hands right. Letting brave names echo. Let's light it up. Time to shine. Everybody stand back.
Step right up.
Let the mountain's veins boil. Let's light it up.
Fuck.
Let the world collide. Let's light it up. Teamwork is dream.
I did not use Farina E.
Here comes the finale.
I forgot to use Farina's E.
Bring it. Time to shine.
don't care, man. Whatever. We got through it. Who cares? Is Shalom Burst bad? No, there's just not much of a reason to use it. You heal with Bennett anyways. Anyways, that's for the background footage. Poggers. Okay. Any other questions, chat? How would you use LYNEY in the next 2 abysses? We can take a look at the lineups. So next abyss, which will be the one that's out as he comes out. Dude.
This is
Okay.
no time for distractions.
It seems like he's gonna be good on the second half.
Standing right here. You don't want to miss the best
You
part.
probably aren't gonna want to play the Farina team because it's a Hydro enemy, so you get the Vapes anyways, and Farina can't do any damage. So most likely you'd want to do some form of Shangling team with him. Shangling my goat. Hog. Yeah, seems very good second side, right? Good against Tulpa, bow user against the Drake, and first chamber shouldn't be too big of a problem anyways. 5.2 Abyss! Dude. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. I guess you use them on the second side, but this one's gonna be a pain in the ass. Oh, it's not going to be pleasant. Oh my. Yeah, I guess you'll just play Burning LYNEY here. Emily's gonna be pretty good. But man. Man. Ooh. Seraphine in her room right now trying to rhyme martial law and fresh air for all. Yeah, dude, that's, yeah. Okay, dude. Alright. But yeah. I think that is going to be it for the Ask Zajef LYNEY. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a thing or two, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, YouTube. Alright, and now for the outro, chat.
Step right up.
Step right up.
Step right up.
Step right up. Step right up. Step right up.
Step right up.
Step right up. Step right up. Step right up.
Step right up.
Step right up.
And voila!
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 Now disappear!
Now disappear!
Now disappear!
Now disappear! Now disappear! Now disappear! Now disappear!
Here comes the finale!
Here comes the finale! Here comes the finale! Here comes the finale!
Let's get this show on the road!
Let's get this show on the road! Let's get the let's get this show on the road!
A round of applause!
A round of applause!
A
A round of applause! A round of applause! It's showtime. Wait, what are you talking about? Japanese burst line? Which one?
フィナーレと行こうか。It's showtime!
Oh, I see.
It's showtime!
It's
showtime!
showtime! It's showtime!
It's showtime!
It's showtime! It's showtime! It's showtime! It's showtime! It's showtime! All right.
注目
All right, that's it for the voiceover. Editors, you got what you need to work with. Okay-ish business. Alright, is there anything else I want to do today? I don't actually want to do viewer abyss. That was a lie in the title. It was false. It was not true. Yeah. Chat, 4 days until Act 2. Okay, AZ was with 2 exclamation marks and Abyss was 2 question marks, so you get a pass? Exactly. Exactly. Act 2 of what? Arcane. Bat chesting, Arcane. Act 2 sneak peek. Should we look at that? Wait, I think I've already watched it. Well, whatever. We might as well. We might as well, nonetheless.
We've lost so many. The anger, the sorrow. You will never rest knowing that she's out there. Commander.
Silco spent his whole life trying to rally the Undercity together. Like it or not, you're a symbol. You have the chance to pull it off.
Here I am, your big fat hero.
Holy. Vi is not handling the breakup well. Well, calling it a breakup, I feel like is doing it a bit of a disservice. Like it was a yeah.
So long as the audience thinks
Like,
the same as believing, there's no limit.
it wasn't just a breakup, you know. It was a breakup, a betrayal, a stab in the back, an attempt at murdering her family. Like, it's a little bit more, you know. Like, it's yeah. The works, exactly. Vi doesn't consider her family. You're wrong. You are wrong. The Vi realized that Vi realized that Jinx was still her sister because of the little girl, Isha or whatever. That's why she stopped Kate. Do I know any lore of LoL to actually know what's going on in Arcane? You don't need to. It contextualizes things in an interesting way, but it's not necessary to understand the story. What champions from LoL do you want them to focus on next? I think that Ionia and Bilgewater are like the two regions I actually want to know more about. Ionia Noxus War would be so good. Yeah, but anything Bilgewater would be sick. And we don't have enough Bilgewater stuff, man. I want more Bilgewater. Give me a story about Pike and Gangplank, man.
This is no time for distractions. Seriously, you have a
Give me some fucking TF and Graves Yowie.
best part to you.
Like, come on. What are you waiting for, Netflix? There's already a whole ass game about it. Yeah, but no one's played it. So who cares?
I wonder what my dear sister Lynette is doing right now. Missing me to death, I'm sure.
Anyways. I think that's gonna be it for today. I hope you all enjoyed your stay. Hope you had a good time. Let me tell the editors I recorded LYNEY AZ.
This is no time for distractions. Seriously, you have a
I don't really want to rate anyone.
right here.